Hello, good morning. Today we are going to discuss Java. Introduction to Java programming. Java, as you know, is a machine independent language. For example, in different programming languages like C, C++, Pascal, Fortran, etc. And a compiler is a program which is converting your high level. Suppose that this is a compiler. Compiler is converting a high level language like C, C++, Pascal, etc. to machine language. Machine language. Okay, that means compiler is a program which is converting your program which is written in a high level language to machine language. For example, these languages are all these languages are not machine dependent because uh, a program which is written in C language can be executed in any machine provided the compiler for that machine exists. For example, suppose that you have a processor, suppose that you have three machines A, B, and C. A is a machine, B is another machine, and C is another machine. For example, suppose that this is say I3, this is I5, and this is I7, or some other processors. Or for example, suppose that this is Celeron processor. Celeron processor. That means here the machine code for I3 is say X. The machine code for I3 is say X, and machine code of this is Y, and machine code of this is Z. That means the machine code of machine A is different from machine code of B. Machine code of B is different for machine code of C. Suppose that if you are developing a processor of your own, suppose that you want to generate a processor of your own, then that processor is having a different machine code, and if you want to execute your program in A, you have written a program in C, and if you want to execute that in machine A, you should have a compiler which is converting your program which is written in a high level language to the machine code which is X. That means if you want to execute this code, that means suppose that you have a program say ex.c, your program is ex.c, and if you want to execute this in A, you should have a compiler which is converting your C program to X. That means this is a compiler which is converting your program which is a C program, that means ex.c, your program is ex.c to X. If you want to execute a program, you should have a compiler which is converting your program to its equivalent machine language program. That means this compiler is machine dependent. Compiler C compiler for A is different from that of B. That means the C compiler for this is if you want to execute this code ex.c in B, you should have another compiler which is converting your ex.c to the machine code of B which is Y. And if you want to execute in C, then you should have another compiler which is converting a program ex.c to Z. That means this the C program is not machine dependent. C program is machine independent. That means the C code which you are writing is not machine dependent. But the compiler, for example, compiler for A, C compiler for A is different for B. Then you should have another compiler for B and you should have another compiler for C. Okay, this compiler is converting your high level language to the machine code of that processor. And machine code also, machine code as you know, it's a sequence of zeros and ones, and that is also machine dependent. And in this case, the portability of C program is portability. It is not portable because you have written a program in C, and suppose that you have converted that, or you have changed, or you have compiled that to some compiled to an executable file, and if you send this executable code to some other guy who is using some other processor, he is not able to execute this program. For example, suppose that you are residing here and you have written a program ex.c, and you have converted your compiler, or you are using machine A, and you have converted this to say ex.exe. This is the executable file. You have converted this ex.c to exe, which is an executable program for A. And if you send this executable code to some other guy, he may be using processor B, and this code is not executable in processor B. Otherwise, another way you can do is straight away you can send this ex.c to that guy, and he should have a compiler which is converting your program to, that means he is having some other compiler who is converting this ex.c to machine code of B, and then he can execute this. That means this code as such has to be sent to that guy. Okay. Now suppose that you have, in India there are different languages like say Malayalam, Tamil, Telugu, then a number of languages are there, and suppose that you are going to design a converter. You are going to design a converter for converting. Suppose that you have say 21 languages in India, 21 languages, and as per our constitution, these are the recognized languages. 21, I think 21 languages are there. Then suppose that you have Malayalam, you are going to design a converter. That means Malayalam to Tamil, Malayalam to Telugu, Malayalam to etc. That means there should have, for Malayalam has to be converted to other 20 languages. That means in India, as we have 21 recognized languages, we are going to have a universal converter for converting these languages. That means Tamil has to be converted to Malayalam, Malayalam has to be converted to Tamil, then Telugu has to be converted to Malayalam, etc. That means if for each combination, that means Malayalam has to be converted to 20 languages, and for this you should have 20 converters. Then Telugu has to be converted to another 20 languages. That means again 20 converters, etc. You need 21 into 20, which is 420 converters you need. 420 converters. Okay. That means if you are converting Malayalam to all the other 20 languages, you need to Malayalam to Tamil, Malayalam to Telugu, Malayalam to Kannada, Malayalam to Gujarati, Malayalam to Hindi, etc. You need 20 different converters for converting Malayalam to other languages. Likewise, Tamil has to be converted to the other 20 languages. Telugu has to be converted to the other 20 languages. So we need this much number of converters. This much number of converters. Now, one possibility is there. One of the possibilities now, instead of converting all these languages to, that means Malayalam to Tamil, Malayalam to Telugu, etc., etc., I am going to have a technology. Now, I am going to have Hindi as you know, Hindi is the mostly spoken language in India. Now, in between, I am going to have Hindi in between. Now, I am going to have 21 converters, which is converting your Malayalam, your Tamil, Telugu, etc. That means among these 21 languages, one is Hindi, and you need 20 converters. That means you need 20 converters, and you are going to have Malayalam to Hindi converter, Tamil to Hindi converter, Telugu to Hindi converter, etc. And for that means here you have 21 recognized languages, and among this one of this is Hindi, and the other 20 languages you are going to convert that to Hindi. Okay, Hindi is in the middle layer. Now, you need, for a language to Hindi converter, you need how many languages? How many converters? We need 20 converters. Malayalam to Hindi, Tamil to Hindi, Telugu to Hindi, etc. And the last one to Hindi. We need 20 converters. Now, I am going to have Malayalam, Tamil, Telugu, etc. 21 languages. Among this, Hindi to Hindi conversion is not possible. So I am going to have Hindi to Malayalam, Hindi to Tamil, etc. up to Hindi to the last language. You need 20 converters from Hindi to that language. Oh, that means you are going to have a converter from, in India we have 21 recognized languages. Suppose that 21 recognized languages are there. Now we are going to have convert each language to another language. For example, Oriya to Malayalam, or Malayalam to Assamese, etc., etc. For example, if you want to have separate converters for all this, you need how many converters? 420 converters you need. But in between, I am going to have Hindi. Now, I am going to, all these languages are first converted to Hindi, and then I am going to convert this Hindi to the other languages. Now, for each language, Malayalam, Tamil, etc., apart from Hindi, you have 20 languages. You need 20 converters, or you want to have, or you need 20 converters for converting a language to Hindi, and another 20 converters from Hindi to that language. Now, a language to Hindi conversion you need 20 plus Hindi to this language conversion another 20 converters. Now you need 40 converters. Okay. Now, if you want to convert Malayalam to Assamese, what you are going to do is, first of all, you are converting a Malayalam to Hindi, and then converting this Hindi to Assamese. And if you want to have an Oriya to Tamil conversion, then Oriya to Hindi and Hindi to Tamil, etc. That means here this Hindi is acting as a middle layer, and whatever conversion you need, first of all you have to convert that to Hindi, and then Hindi to that language. Likewise, if you have a compiler, then that compiler is machine dependent. And once you have a compiler, then for every pair of, that means if you have a language and you have a processor, you need a compiler. If you are having a language and if you have a program and if you have a processor, then you should have a compiler which is machine dependent. That means for a, suppose that you have say A, B, C, etc. to Z. Now how many letters are there? 26 letters. So suppose that this much number of processors are there, what will happen? A C compiler has to be written for A, another C compiler for B, another C compiler for C, etc. That means you need a C compiler for each machine. C compiler for each machine, and your program has to be converted to the machine language which is equivalent to that processor. That means that much number of C compilers you need. Okay. Now here in Java, what you are going to do is, we have a concept. Here, Hindi is acting as a middle layer, and likewise in Java, we have the concept of Java bytecodes. Java bytecodes. Now, we are going to discuss what is Java bytecode. Now, I'm going to discuss what is Java bytecode. Java bytecode. In our earlier discussion on Java, I told you about what a compiler is. Compiler is a machine dependent program, and if you have different processors A, B and C, then you should have different compilers for A, B and C. Okay. Now, if you want to send your code to, or suppose that you have written a C program and you have compiled that to its machine code, and if you are sending this machine code to some other location, then that guy who is executing your program may not be able to do that, because this machine code is compiler machine dependent. Machine code is machine dependent, and your code may not be executed there. Otherwise, you should send your C program itself. Okay, so you have written a code and you have to send your code as such. Okay, then now we are going to have Java, and in Java this problem is solved by using a concept known as Java bytecode. I told you in our earlier discussion, in India we have 21 languages, and for converting your 21 languages to some other language, you need so many converters if you are using independent converters for that. So, I told you about Hindi, we are treating Hindi as an intermediate language, and first of all, you can convert all your programs to Hindi and Hindi to other language. Then you generally 40 converters for that. Likewise, here instead of converting a Java program to, we have written a code, and suppose that your code is example.java. Example.java. Your program is example.java, and if you want to compile that, instead of converting, all other compilers convert your program to its equivalent machine language program. That means that after converting that, you are executing that. Instead of in Java, first of all, you have a Java compiler which is Java C. This is Java compiler. This is Java compiler, and this your program is example.java. Java. This Java C is the Java compiler, and this Java compiler is converting that to, this is Java bytecode, which is an intermediate language. That is, as I told you earlier, you are or I am using machine A, and there are machines like B, C, etc. up to Z. That means say 26 different processors are there in different locations, and I am using processor A. And in this processor, I have edited a program example.java. My program is example.java, and then I have converted this example.java to Java bytecode. That means you have a virtual machine which is called Java virtual machine. Java virtual machine. This is analogous to our Hindi. This is analogous to our Hindi. That means you are not converting a program to its equivalent machine code as such. Instead of that, you are converting a program to executable code which can be executed in Java virtual machine. Java virtual machine is actually it's a virtual machine. It is not really existing. It's only a virtual machine, and your code which is written in Java is converted to Java bytecodes which can be executed in this Java virtual machine. But actually there doesn't exist any Java virtual machine. That means you have converted this to an intermediate language. This is an intermediate language. Just like our discussion on language converters of the 21 languages, Hindi is acting as an intermediate language. Likewise, here this Java virtual machine is acting as an intermediate machine, and instead of converting a program as such to machine code of a particular machine, first of all, you are converting this to Java bytecode which can be executed in Java virtual machine. That means Java C is the Java compiler. Java C is the Java compiler, and Java compiler is a universal one. Any program written in Java can be converted to its equivalent Java bytecode using Java compiler. Okay, Java compiler is not machine dependent. That means you can have Java bytecode, and Java bytecode is actually a class file is created when you are processing this Java C, this example.java using Java C. The output will be example.class. Example.class. Example.java is converted to example.class. It's a class file. Okay. Now, after doing that, this is the class file, and that is written in Java bytecode, and that can be executed in a Java virtual machine. Now, suppose now this class file is there. Suppose that you are sending this class file to some other guy who is using. I have done all these things in processor A. That means I have used this processor A to convert example.java, a program, an application program which is written in Java, and it should have the extension .java, and that is converted to Java bytecode. And Java bytecode is the file name is example.class, and that is created using A. And I am going to send this example.class to some other location who is using some other processor, and this is C. Suppose that I am going to send this to a person who is using processor C. Then he can execute this example class provided interpreter for Java exists there. Interpreter, that means this is the first portion. This is the first portion, and if you want to execute this, you need a Java interpreter. Java interpreter which is called Java. This is the Java compiler, and this is Java interpreter. Java interpreter which is converting your class file example.class to that can be execution. As this is a Java interpreter, this is interpreting this, that means that is executed there. That is executed there. That means here there are two layers for run, two processes are there for running a Java program. That means first of all you have to convert your program to its equivalent Java bytecode or Java bytecode, and then after that in the executing machine you should have a Java interpreter, and Java is interpreting this Java bytecode to the actual process execution. That means two processes are there. Using Java C, you are converting your Java program to its equivalent Java bytecode, and Java bytecode is executed using the Java interpreter. That means in this way, we are achieving portability in Java, portability for Java code. If the difference between C and Java is, if you have written a program in C and you have to keep it as private, because if your code is visible to everybody, then he can make modifications in that program. Okay, so you are not able to send your program as such. For that, what you can do is you are converting a program to its equivalent machine code and then send the machine code to the other guy. Then your code is safe. Your code is safe. You are sending only the executable code. But the difficulty for sending the executable code is in the machine in which the code is running should be same as the code you have generated. For example, if you have generated code for a C program is there, and C program is converted to machine code of A, then in the destination or a guy who is using that executable code should have this machine A. This way we are achieving portability for Java program. That means that Java program is portable because you are going to convert your Java program to equivalent Java bytecode, and you are sending that Java bytecode, and anybody can use that Java bytecode provided the interpreter for that machine exists. Okay, this is the way portability is achieved in Java. Okay, thank you.